Now. So we should be recording, um, Pastor Stephen. So I'm gonna get into this. Hey everybody, it's Pastor Larry, and I am here in Denison, Texas. And through the power of technology, there's never been a time in my life that I have been more thankful for the power of technology than over this last year. The last year has created a lot of constriction for many of us that travel and that do things in other places, and so it has been quite a year. 2020 was quite a year of trying to stay connected with our friends and people that we love and care about, and ministries that we're involved in, and so I'm thankful for the power of technology. It's kept me involved. I've even been able to participate in some online conferences, been able to preach while I sat in my office and preached all the way around the world. And those things are amazing to me. And so today is just another amazing moment for me. I am joined by my friend, Pastor Stephen Gashumba, who currently, yeah, there he is waving to us. And he currently is residing with his wife Fofo and their two uh, brand new twin daughters, born just a few months ago. They live in Kigali, Rwanda, and that is a beautiful city, a beautiful nation, a place that Rosanna and I have had the opportunity to travel to. I've been a couple of times. Rosanna's been with me once, and just a beautiful city, wonderful people, and God is doing great things in that city, and or in that nation, and He is using Pastor Stephen as part of His plan and His purpose. And Pastor Stephen has been with us here in Texas. He lived in the U.S. for several years, and he's
Right.
been with us at the refuge on a couple of different occasions. And the folks here just love him. And when you get to know Pastor Stephen, you're going to love him too. He
Thank
has
you.
such a huge uh, personality and a huge smile, and it lights up a room. And I have spent more time laughing with this man than should be legally allowed. But we have laughed, and he has such a great sense of humor and just a powerful ministry and is effective. So, Pastor Stephen,
Thank
welcome,
you.
man.
Thank you. Thank you, Pastor Larry. It's always a blessing to have you, to talk to you, to see you with Rosanna and the ministry and the whole family of the refuge. I love you guys. I miss you, and I love talking, preaching to you, and my accent.
Yeah, we love when you talk about purpose here. That's what we love when you talk about purpose.
Man of God.
so so hey, Pastor Stephen,
Yeah.
let's jump in for a few minutes because I know you have things to do, and I have a schedule to keep and all those other kind of things. But I wanted to take a few minutes today because the refuge, our church, we believe in you, and we believe in
Thank
what
you.
you're doing,
Thank
not
you.
just in Rwanda, but you're going into Uganda, and you're doing
Right.
a lot of things in your region of Central Africa. Um, and our church believes in you. Rosanna and I believe in
Thank
you,
you.
and because
Thank you.
we believe
Thank
in
you.
you, there's a church here that believes in you and
Thank you.
supports you and what you're doing on a monthly basis.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
so I wanted to spend a little time today talking to you. First of all, I want to give you a chance to talk about your family. Um, tell us about your wife and babies, and all of that, and then we'll get into some stuff that you're doing there in the region. So how is life? Because when you were with us last in Texas, you were engaged, but you were not married yet. And so since the last time you've been with us in Texas, you have gotten married, and now then you have two beautiful twin girls. And if you want to tell those that are going to be watching this uh, what I said to you and to Fofo the last time I was in Rwanda before babies came along, that's good too. But just tell us a little bit about what's going on with your family.
Well, thank you, sir. Thank you for this opportunity to share with you and also to the people that are following this video. Well, Fofo is not actually right now. She's sleeping because she's busy with the babies, and I was actually with one of them a few minutes ago. It's just a blessing. It's just a blessing. Actually, a few people now are calling me Papa Double, like a double,
Double,
yeah, like here they call a person like by the name of their son or their daughter, Papa so and so, or Papa so and so. Like now they call me Papa Double, like I have a double blessing or some.
That's great.
It's just beautiful. God has been so good to me. He has been so good to us. The babies are growing healthy. They are becoming 5 months old. They just gaze and look at me all the time without blinking. They just keep looking at me like this, and we just enjoy ourselves. And I was in Uganda for some time there doing the wells, and I was missing them, but I'm now back in Rwanda, and we're just doing very well. Fofi is doing very well. We're praising the Lord. We are doing very fine.
That's amazing, man. And you have, I'm telling you, man, you have one of the sweetest wives. She is just she's a gem, a jewel. And Roseanne and I love Fofo. So
Bless
please
you.
let
She
her
loves
know.
you too.
Yeah, we know that. And let her know that we said hello. And I'm sure, man, she needs to rest when she can, because twins are a lot of work.
Hard
And
work.
so,
It is.
but we love your family, man. And Roseanne and I cannot wait to meet those babies, to hug on them, kiss on them,
Thank you.
and
Thank you, sir.
bring them some goodies. And we can't wait to do that. But so we're
Thank you.
excited about that. But Pastor Stephen, tell me a little bit about. I call you pastor. You don't necessarily have a church there in Rwanda, but you are a pastor to leaders, and you have invited us. We would have been there this year had it not been for the pandemic, but you've invited us the past couple of years to come and to do what you have called courageous leadership conferences, where you bring bishops and pastors together from the nation of Rwanda, and you bring them to a central location, and then we just kind of pour into their lives for a couple of days. So tell us a little bit about that. Tell us your heart for leaders in the nation of Rwanda and why that's so important.
Well, this is how the ministry of speaking to leaders and loving the leaders started. I was invited in Congo, and that was, I think, in 1999, to do a conference. When I was invited there, it was a conference, and I found out the pastor, one of those pastors have churches that are hooked to the building where they stay, and he had many children. He had about 7 children. They're all young children. And so the church is hooked on his building. And that is in Congo. It's a different country from here. And I was there. There's too much hospitality. There was a lot of women cooking food and all that. And of course, we were happy. Then little did I know that actually the church is connected to the house, and they pray every day. So he has a heart for God. He has a heart for the ministry. He has a heart for the family. But there is a lot of movements in the house going on because the church is interconnected to the house. Well, at night we went to bed, and I found out that I was sharing a bed with another guest minister in the bed, which is okay. But then I woke up at 3 a.m. in the morning to go in the living room to pray, to leave this gentleman who was sleeping in the room to go and seek the Lord. When I reached in the living room, Pastor, I found out, I looked in the corner there was a pastor and his wife. I looked in another corner there was 2 kids sleeping there. I looked in another corner somewhere there was another 3 kids, because remember, he has 7 kids and they were all there. I was moved. I cried. I shed tears. And I found out it's kind of like the they are homeless in their own home, in a way. That is the impression I got about that. And the whole thing is that he's doing it out of love. It's not wrong what he's doing. It's not sin what he's doing, but he needs a little bit of an adjustment in the way he thinks towards God and ministry. And that since that time, I have grown a burden wherever I go for leaders. It has been the grace of God for years. Since 99, it is very easy. I have a heart for leaders. Like if you gave me a choice to speak to a crusade or a conference of 10,000 believers and 10 pastors and leaders that are organized, that are hungry. So the main cause is the hunger. They're hungry. I would rather go for 10 pastors that are hungry. I've developed a heart for leaders. I have questioned. I've suffered myself as a minister. I've gone through issues and I've failed to get somebody to talk to or even to look for me. And I found how pastors and leaders actually they sacrifice a lot. They sacrifice their monies, their gas, their cars, whatever they have to take care of the believers. But they easily get hurt. They easily get hurt because they do a lot, and there are not really many think about the sacrifices of the leaders. And so that has become my burden, to look out for the pastors. And it's a grace of God. I think it's a call of God. And when I was in the US, I actually formed the School of Ministries to help. The whole motive behind the School of Ministries was that I hold the hands of the pastors by training the leaders around them. So anyway, I started this, and I studied in the US. I studied in Ashland Theological Seminary. I stayed in Texas down there for numbers there. And then later on, the Lord told me to come back home and be a missionary at home. And I came back with this vision of pastors, men and women of God, helping them. And so, which is like 3 years ago, 2 years.
Hey, Pastor, we've lost the connection. I lost your connection there, Pastor Stephen.
Can you hear me now?
I can. You froze up on us there right about the time you were talking about. You said something about God spoke to you to return to your country, to be a missionary there.
Yeah, so God spoke to me to come back to my country, to my region, to be a missionary. And so I founded this ministry, Hope for Every Heart. And the Hope for Every Heart, we focus on 5 things. And one is the training of pastors and leaders in the region. And so this is where we had you guys come, and you have been a great blessing to the pastors here, because you really brought out the heart of encouraging, affirming to the men of God. And in our first year when you came, we probably had about 800 pastors that gathered throughout the period of 3 days. And these are real senior pastors. They are bishops. They have churches. They have leaders under them. It's a grace of God. I'm really honored and humbled, really, to be able to gather those kind of people, and they listen, and they come with the pens and pencils ready. The conference we had when you guys came with the Yonkers, it was a great one. You saw how bishops and pastors broke down and cried in front of everybody. And believe me, Pastor Larry, in our culture, that is very hard to make it for people to open up and actually be vulnerable in front of everybody. It is. So it must have taken the power of God himself to have done that. So it has been a blessing having you guys every year. We cast this spirit of COVID. It has messed up our conference this year, but but it is good, always good.
But Pastor Stephen, man, and I think you said something that's really, really powerful. And I'm sure you've heard this old analogy. There's an old analogy that says, if you give a man a fish, he will eat for a day. If you teach a man a fish, he will eat for a lifetime. Teach a man to fish, he'll eat for a lifetime.
Right.
And that's kind of how I
Right.
feel about, I feel the same way that you do. I think maybe that's why our hearts are so knit together, is because I feel the same way as you do. Um, because here's the thing, I may not ever be able to preach to a stadium full of people. Um, I may
Right.
not ever be able to be on a platform where thousands and thousands and thousands of people are present, and people are giving their lives um, to God. But, and I say that I may not be ever able to do that. It may not ever happen in my lifetime where that's a one-time event. But the fact that
Right.
we have been able to partner to minister to pastors, I believe there's no way to even count um, the impact of how those
That that
pastors go
that
back
that,
to their churches, their cities, their villages. And I think only eternity
that
will
is.
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
I,
I was just punching in this when you say that. That is how I see it. I see it this way. I say, if you can speak to 100 pastors, we will never know how much impact we have
sure.
to a lot of people, millions of people. And actually, as a matter of fact, a research was made, and the research was found out that the average pastor who pastors a church between 100 people to 300, because a lot of churches are in a range of 2 to 300 members, they impact at least 10,000 people in their lifetime.
Right.
And so when you count, because when you count your members each has a family member of about how many, 3, 4, 10 people, and they always probably mention your name somehow, somewhere. And so that's the impact. And so I'm counting and I'm saying, like, okay, wait, if I'm speaking to 10 to 100 pastors, and the one pastor is going to impact 10,000 people, that's a lot of people. I can't even try to count those people.
Yeah,
So,
that's right.
and so that encourages me. So go ahead, sir.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I agree with you. And so, I want to honor you because you've worked really, really hard there
Thank you.
in Rwanda to put together a leadership conference that is powerful and impactful, and the response that you get, man, is so incredible. Um,
Thank you.
and the way that it comes together. And so we're happy, man. We are happy to partner
Thank
with
you.
you in that, and can't
Thank you.
wait until we are
Thank you.
back on the ground there, and visiting with all of our friends and doing it all over again. So that's a really powerful piece of your ministry. But
Thank
another
you.
thing that you are doing, and I think this piece excites the people like in my church, because not
Mhm.
everybody can go with me, to a leadership conference in Rwanda. Not
Right.
everybody can make that journey.
Right.
And even if they were, there may not be something necessarily for everybody to do or to participate
Right.
in. It's a very
Right.
structured
Right.
environment. But but the next thing that you do, really anybody can be a part of it. And it doesn't
Right.
matter where they are. It doesn't matter if
Right.
they ever make the trip to Rwanda or Uganda.
Right.
That doesn't
Right.
matter. Wherever
Right.
they are, they can be a part of that. And the thing that you do through Hope for Every Heart, one of the things you do is you have a mission. You feel like God has given you a mandate to provide
Right.
fresh water for villages and people.
Right.
Mostly, I believe you're doing it on the Uganda side, but in the rural
Right.
villages
Right.
where people are
Right.
drinking dirty, diseased water, basically out of what we would
Right.
call a ditch here in the United
Right. Right.
States. And
Right.
and the
Right.
water is dirty. You can see it in the videos that you do. The water is not clean. It carries disease with it, and it's making people sick, and people actually die from drinking that,
Right.
and that
Right.
contaminated water. And so
Right.
you're going in to these villages, and I'm talking about deep in the villages in Uganda,
Right.
not the big
Right.
cities, not the places where there's a lot
Mm-mm.
of people. You're going
Mm-mm.
into
Mm-mm.
what a lot of people would call the forgotten places, and you are
Right. Right.
drilling water wells in those
Right.
villages. And
Right. Right.
to see some of the videos, the way that the villages celebrate when that water starts flowing is just humbling. It is humbling. It is
Right.
powerful to
Right.
see what happens when water begins to flow into those villages, and those people that you're
Right.
ministering to through that means are able to carry clean water home to not only
Right.
to drink but to cook with, to bathe with,
Right.
all the things water does for us. And so I want you to talk for just a minute about um, the cost, what it takes for you to do that presently,
Right. Right.
and kind of the process for that. And
Right.
then I want you to spend just a minute talking about the vision that God has given you that will
Right.
drastically reduce the cost
Right.
and allow you to be able to do even more of what you're doing, providing
Right.
water to villages in Uganda. So tell us a little bit about the water well project.
Thank you. Thank you, Pastor Larry. Okay. Let me tell you, before I tell you the cost and everything, I would first tell you how it all started. Well, you know, I was raised in a nomadic family. We are we originate from the nomadic people. The nomadic people are the ones who chase cows. And so we follow cows, and the cows will determine pretty much where we're going to live. And so we would go where there's water and where there is grass. Water and grass would actually determine the next location where we're going to live. And so because of that, I had never tasted clean water in my life because I would share water with cows. We drank water from the swamp. I witnessed a lot of kids died. I don't know how many kids of my age are still alive. There are very fewer people. It's when I come in the US that I see people who are old enough to be my grandparents at my age. And I say, wow, this is amazing. You will hardly see those people because people die in their early 30s, early 20s. And a lot of kids die. Right now, as I talk, there's a kid who's sick, and most of those kids are suffering from water-related diseases and malaria fever. And so when I was in Ohio, studying in Ashland Seminary, I used to have a place I used to go to in a forest, some kind of a forest to pray. And one day after prayer, I had this voice from the Lord asking me, Stephen, if you died, what have you done for your people? And I was like, okay. And I thought that the Lord was telling me to kind of maybe help my mom and dad. And the question insisted, if you died, what have you done for your people? Well, he showed me the water that I grew up drinking and the water they drink right now. And he told me you should drill them a clean water well. I laughed. I don't lie to you. I laughed because I was still in the US. I asked for companies, how much do the water well cost to drill a water well? And they did a budget for me, whatever it cost, and they sent it to me via my email. And it was like $10,000. And I was like, no way. I have never seen this money in my life. I don't know how it looks like. I have never held it in my hand. So there's no way possible to drill a water well. That we're talking about one. There's no way. I said there's no way. So the Lord told me, why don't you just believe me and let me be the one? You worry about believing me, and I will worry about the process.
That's good.
I said, you know what? That's easy. Let me do that. I actually started kind of proving him wrong in a way, kind of like, I don't know whether this was, I know he was wrong. And well, we got our first water well. And then since that time, the burden has grown and has grown and has grown to help these people. You have mentioned how the water looks like, and I'm sure people have seen the pictures. Those are real pictures that we took ourselves, and that is the kind of people. We go to the real villages, and that's where we drill the water. Well, to go back to the question, a water well to drill a water well right now costs us at least $10,000 to drill a water well, and that I can break it into parts to show you how that is spent. There is surveying the land and surveying the location. Surveying the land is that because there's a lot of needy people, we have to drive miles in the rural villages, deciding which place really needs water the most. Everybody needs water, but who needs water the most?
Right.
And we have to make a decision. We have to make that judgment ourselves and say, okay, I know you guys need water, but man, this one it's very terrible. And then whenever we drive some more, we are like, oh, wait a minute. These ones actually need more water than these ones we just gave water.
Yeah.
So there's that one we do that we survey, and then there's after that we survey the location. So that's a different company that we use that goes and does a survey. They have machines. They go and they survey where the location where there's gonna drill the water, and then the other thing. The other cost that incurs is purchasing and ownership of the place. Sometimes we are given the place to put once they found that there's this location has got clean water, because some places they don't. Some places they keep on doing like this until they find a place where there's water. Once they find a location, that location is a land of somebody, and so because that's a land of someone. And yet we are giving free water to the community. We do not want that gentleman or that man to wake up one morning and say, hey, this is my water. So you guys are supposed to pay this much. You hear me? We don't want that. So what we do, we make sure we own that piece of land, that place. Yeah. Yes. So to avoid any future dispute that would come for someone who gets poor and he wants to sell that water to the community, and yet it was freely given to the people. So that incurs the cost. And then the other one is the drilling itself and the materials that drill a water well, and the other one is missing the water. Sometimes we get one chance to miss the water. Sometimes we miss. And so the company will go and miss, and then they will look for somewhere else and miss. The third time we have to pay. So we also incur that cost, and we say, okay, before you move, because if he moves back to his office in Kampala, we will have to pay the whole amount again.
Right. Sure.
So, and it is very devastating and heartbreaking whenever a rig comes and goes back with that water for that community, because Pastor Rory, once the rig arrives in a community, it is like God himself has arrived.
Yes.
It's like you see women, you see children, they come, they start cleaning up the rig, they kneel down, they thank God, they lift up their hands. It's like, whoa, help has finally come. So it is heartbreaking whenever they drill and they miss the water. It's heartbreaking. So we always try to make sure that they leave that place with at least when they have tried. By the time we give up our saves, they've tried like how many? They have tried like 2 or 3, 4 times. Then we can say, now give up. We are so sorry. We don't have more money to spend in that particular area. We have failed twice in 2 places. One was a place called Mubende, and up to now, it has never left my consciousness. It is very far. It's in the western part of Uganda. The truck had to drive almost like 8 miles to 8 hours to get there. And they spent, a lot of time, and they dug over 230 meters. All they were running to was mud. And finally, the truck had to drive back to Kampala. It was heartbreaking. And up to now, I never felt good about that scenario. Right. We still had to pay the truck anyway, the company anyway.
Sure.
So there is a lot of all that. We also spend money on rehabilitation. So rehabilitation. Once our wells work hard, they really work hard, non-stop, 5 a.m., 11 p.m., non-stop, boom, 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 boom. You can see a line of jerrycans turning corners. So it keeps on doing like that, like this. And this is not good for any kind of machine to keep running like this, non-stop. So we incur costs for rehabilitation. For just in case, right now there's a one that they are working on right now, rehabilitating. So rehabilitating is also costly because they have to go. Sometimes they have to remove the machine that are broken, and they fall quickly. Because they work a lot. It's like a car. You drive the car. After some time, you start buying a new tire. You start doing all that. So
sure,
that's exactly what maintenance. Right. So, and then the last one we have the administrative cost from our office to make sure that they run all these things up and down, driving there, check all this, can make phone calls, all those kind of things. So that's why the 10,000. The reason the rig I sent, I've sent the rig that the big picture I have right now, and the prayer we have right now as a Ministry of Hope for Every Heart, Pastor Larry, is to get our own rig.
Right.
Once we have our own rig, this is what is going to happen. The cost that we're paying for one water well will be chopped into half, and so we will be able to drill 2 water wells from the cost I was normally drilling 1 water well. And so what we'll be doing right now from there, it will be our own rig, and we'll hire our own engineer, whom we already have, who is helping me looking at all these rigs in different countries. So we will need administrative cost, or a little bit of administrative cost. We also need to pay the house rent where the rig will be parked, like that. And then we'll go. These rigs are new. They are good. We'll be able to drill a water well in one community for 2 to 3 days and move to another location.
Right. And let me try to, I don't know if that's a good picture or not. You
Yes,
can
sir.
see that.
Yes, sir. Yes,
but
that's it.
That's the rig that you are attempting to raise funds for right now. And
yes, sir.
tell us,
yes, sir.
Tell us how much that particular rig will cost, complete,
That
delivered, and
is,
everything.
Yes, thank you, sir. That rig is from India, and that rig, it will cost 14,000 to purchase, 10,000 to ship to Mombasa, and I still need to figure out the amount of money for the taxes. You know, I still need to figure out how much. I can't know that, but I will figure out how much that would cost for the tax once it enters the country. It could be we'll be exempted because we're a non-profit. I still need to find out those processes in the country, but as of now, I'm telling you what I know for sure. And what I know for sure, for it to get to Mombasa, which is the port in Kenya, it will be 150,000. My mind is blowing. I'm counting 15,000. 150,000. So it itself costs 140, and then bringing it to Mombasa will be $10,000, which comes to 150,000. And then from there, it won't be a lot of money to get it on a truck from maybe $1,000. I'm not sure, like get on a truck to Kampala. And then we go to the taxes. Now from the taxes from the Ugandan government, I need to negotiate with them and tell them, look here, we are a non-profit organization, and they will probably give it to us for free without taxes, or maybe they would charge us some little amount of money. I'm not sure. I need to find out the right person. But that part, we wouldn't want to worry about it right now, because we'll figure that out once the truck is there. They will know how that would work.
Right. But if we could just say today, we know that if we could assist you, and when I say we, I'm talking about anybody that would watch this and wherever you want to share it. But if we could assist you, $160,000 would go a long way in getting you the rig into Uganda and ready to go.
160 we get we buy, we ship the rig, we bring it on a truck from Mombasa to Kampala, and I bet it would pay for the taxes.
Right.
So I would be ready to work with that 160. Yes, sir.
So that's the appeal that I want to make today. And our church, the Refuge,
yes, sir.
You have to start somewhere, Pastor Stephen. And
yes, sir.
I believe God's going to help us do more, but we want to commit right off the bat. We want to commit to $5,000 toward that.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And the deal is, it really wouldn't take a whole lot, for people to do this. I think about it like this. Um, if 100 people committed $1,000, that's $100,000.
Wow.
That's man, that's something easy for a lot of people, especially
Yes,
in
sir.
America. That's something
Mm-hmm.
easy for a lot of people to do or to commit to. And so, I believe, Pastor Stephen, we're praying because not only we've already supported and sponsored half of a well. We're working on another well here
Yes.
at our church, and
Thank you,
now
sir.
we're
Thank you.
committing to uh, sponsoring the purchase of this rig and to help you get
Thank
there.
you.
But I am
Thank you.
believing
Thank you
God
very
that He
much.
is going to make a way. I'm believing that He's going to make a way for this to happen. And I believe that it's going to be a huge blessing. And I believe this is something tangible. This is something that, a lot of times people give money to causes that they don't really see any tangible result from. But a
Right.
water well is a tangible thing. A
A lot
rig
of yes.
a rig that would drill those wells is a tangible thing. You could
Right.
actually, you could see where your money goes. And for those of you that are watching today that may want to sponsor a well right now, I know that Pastor Stephen even once the well is drilled and it's pumping and it's working, um, they can even work with you to I know we don't do it for recognition, but they work with you to put a marker at that well to say, hey, this family or this church sponsored this well, so these people in this community could have water. And so I know it's something that
We
if you were to ever get the opportunity to go to the nation, you could actually go to where your finances were put into action, and you could see it happening and see the effect that it's had on people's lives. And so that's what I wanted to spend a little time with today, Pastor Stephen. I appreciate you taking the time for me. I know that
yes.
you're feeding people. I was just moved beyond belief during the height of the pandemic to watch as we sent funds to you, and then you would go
Yes.
out and provide food packages for families, and you traveled all over the nation of Rwanda delivering food during the pandemic to families. And so I know that you're feeding people physically, you're providing water physically, you're providing training and encouragement and leadership for pastors and bishops there. And I just want you to know that from us here in Texas at the Refuge, man, we honor you. We honor your
Thank you.
family. It is our
Thank you.
joy to hold your hands up. It's our joy to
Thank you.
partner with you
Thank you.
in
Thank
what
you.
God is doing in the nation of Rwanda and Uganda through your hands and through your efforts and through what God has laid on your heart. I preached last night about imagination and how that
Mm-hmm.
imagination always comes before manifestation. You
Mm.
have to see it in your mind before you can see it in
Right.
reality.
Right.
And you just gave a beautiful example of that because you talked about how God spoke to you and said, go back to your country and provide clean water. And you first said, how can that be? But
Right.
as God began to deal with your heart and your imagination, you began to see it happen. And because you saw it happen in your imagination, it's now happening in reality. And you are
Right.
doing what He laid on your heart to do. So, man, it is an honor to be your friend and your
Thank you.
brother. Man, I love you deeply, and we
Thank
believe
you,
in
sir.
you and what you're doing. And I hope from this that people get a sense of what's happening, and some of their questions may have been answered, and that
Mm-hmm.
people will begin to more readily open their wallets and their pocketbooks and contribute to something that is definitely worthy of that contribution.
Thank you. Thank you so very much. Thank you, Pastor Larry. Um, I'm honored for you guys thinking about us and holding our hands and supporting us, and for your prayers that you've always done, and for all the finances you always send. Sometimes I'll be driving and I see those funds buzzing on my phone. Boom, boom. And I was like, oh, Larry has sent you this. And I said, oh, wow, this is good. So thank you so much. It's so encouraging. There is a type of giving that comes and this is a divine thing. This is a real divine, and it's kind of holding your hands, telling you, come on, you can do it. You can do it. And so that's how I feel you guys and in my spirit. And so thanks. And like you mentioned a while ago, no one asks us to put any name on the wells. It is the people in the communities here that do that. It is them. They actually want to pray for the individuals, for the company, for the churches that have thought about them. And so they say, who are these? We need to pray for these people. And so we say, well, you know what? So we just tell the people that send us funds, hey, if you don't mind, we would like to put your name here. You probably would never come to Uganda. You probably can't even spell the name of that community very well. But hey, there are people that are praying for you and your family. And you want to see the jerrycans of people lining up, lifting up their hands and say, bless Mr. Some of them don't even know how to say the names of the donors properly, and they will say, bless Pastor so-and-so, bless this church, God bless you. And they go ahead and fetch the water. We think that's a good thing.
Yes, and absolutely.
And so we do that, and we are looking for the technology actually where we'll be able, where I'm talking to the video guys here, where they will be able to put the wells on a satellite somehow. People would go to a website and click on it and see it live. We're thinking we would like to do that. They can see a video. They can see we could put a video there, and when I click it, we're looking for people to help us do that, because we want people to see where their money is going. Pastor, we don't have a lot of. We are 4 full-time people that are working, doing all this kind of work. And the reason why I do that is because I want all the monies that come to go directly to the needy people. We don't want to spend any money on the bureaucracy and too much paperwork. We just want it to go where it's supposed to go, and that's it. And so,
well, man, so we know that. Again. And we believe you, and we believe in you, and we know that, and that's why our heart is to help you. So listen, man, I'm gonna let you get back to your family, but I cannot wait. I can't wait to come and have a cup of coffee with you on a rooftop there in Kigali, man.
Cool. It'll be cool.
I'm waiting for that day. We can preach all day, and then we can go relax on the rooftop and drink a cup of coffee, and it'll be great, man.
And look at the sceneries of Kigali, Rwanda.
Yeah, the 10,000 hills, man. So
yes, sir.
Yeah, it's a beautiful place. Well, hey, man, I love you. Thank you for joining us. Greet Fofo for us. Give her a big hug for us. And I'm trusting that from this video, man, there's going to be a harvest, and we're going to be able to be talking very soon about the purchase of a rig and moving forward of the mission for Hope for Every Heart. So I love you, man, and we'll check on you soon.
Love you too, Pastor Ore. Tell Rosanna I said hi, and the Refuge family. God bless you, everybody. I love you guys. God bless you. Thanks for your time.
All right, man. Good night.
Good night. Bye.
Bye-bye.